How y'all doing, brothers and sisters? Hope y'all feeling blessed. Hope y'all feeling well. Hope y'all feeling eager and motivated each day to make a change and to make a difference within yourself, because you can. I want to talk about something today. Let's talk about it. Y'all want to talk about it? Is it all right if I could talk about it? Because everybody talking about it. Everybody got their opinion, so I'm going to talk about it. This is my city. I'm in the city of Columbus, Ohio. In my opinion, I feel it's like one of the best states on the map. It's a great tourist site to come to. We got the greatest college team that's known. The Buckeyes. We got all stars that came from the city of Ohio. The great city of Columbus, the great city of Cleveland. Ohio is it's a lot of history in Ohio. It's a lot of great things and great individuals and great events that happens and that comes out of Ohio. But I want to talk about the bad thing that happened in Ohio not too long ago. It's sad that situations like this happen all across the world, and we gotta make a difference. But I want to talk about this bad situation that happened in Columbus, Ohio. The Tappies. Everybody got their opinions on it. You got news sites. You got social media individuals and people giving their opinion on what they believe and what they their suspicions and what they expecting out of this whole situation. I'm giving this is my opinion. Everybody got an opinion, and maybe our opinions can hopefully bring justice. And if not this case, because it seems like they got the evidence. But our opinions is good because our opinions can sometimes bring truth. We can open the doors to truth. You know what I'm saying? So my opinion on this situation is, because a lot of people talking about why now? Why now after 10 years of them being separated? After 10 years of them being separated, why now? The Tappies, they seem like a beautiful couple. Their husband is a dentist, and his career and his job of choice, it seemed like he was the top dog in his office. He was the one. He was the one making the decisions, and he was the one. So he had a high-paying job. His wife seemed like a beautiful lady. She seemed like she found someone who's going to be there for her, who's going to support her in every way. So we all in our head, we got this like, why now? And on top of that, they got kids together. Kids, beautiful kids together. I've seen pictures of the kids, they beautiful children. And we wondering like, why now? Why now? Why now? After so long, why now? Because I know people fall in love. I know love you can love somebody forever. Like I met a woman in my college days. We even though we ain't together, but I still love her. But I'm not in love with her to the point where I gotta force myself to be with her. But I still time to time, have my thoughts about that woman. But it's not to the point where I gotta ruin what she got going now, because we've been separated for so long. But if I see her, I look at her as a friend. You know what I'm saying? Someone I know, someone that I had love for. So, but in my mind, I'm like, I know people fall in love and you can hold on to love for eternity. But I hear those stories when people, they done had families, they done had kids, and the husband and wife then built a foundation. They done been together from childhood, from college days, then they had 20-year marriage and then eventually probably divorce. And in that situation, it's kind of hard for somebody to leave that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because you done built a firm foundation. You done had a big family. You done had a family. You done really built a name. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that situation, but this situation, I don't understand. You know, they say the couple was only, the marriage was only lasted a year and a half. You know, a year and a half. So people like thinking like a year and a half, they wasn't together so that long. I know they probably had their little differences in their situation, in their relationship. What would make a man come back after 10 years knowing the lady that had met a man? She'd have been with a man 5 years, more than 3 years, more than 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, then had kids, and eventually got married. What would make a man just come out of nowhere and say, I know we didn't got married, our marriage, and kill a person? Their marriage was only a year and a half. What would make a man risk his career and go all the way down and travel to go commit such a crime? So we all discombobulated. This is my opinion. You know, they say before Miss Tepe had got married, she was with the guy, the doctor, McGee, that lives in Chicago. You know, she said before they got married, she was married to the individual. Their marriage lasted, I guess, a year and a half. But before that, you can see the pictures of them smiling. You can see the pictures of them like hugging each other, close to each other. So you could tell in that time period, it was a lot of love right there. A lot of love in them pictures. I believe once they got married and the careers got in the middle of the relationship, her husband before was focusing more on his career, him being a doctor, because you know when you a doctor dealing with veins or any type of firm where you're dealing with patients, you got to put in hours in college. You got to put in hours in your study of knowing what you're doing, knowing your craft, especially if you're dealing with veins. So what he was doing, I know he was putting a lot of hours, and the hours he was putting in was probably taken away from his relationship, taken away from the time, taken away from having fun and spending and making this woman smile, you know, the love making, because you got to put in them hours. You got to always you always got to be productive. You always got to show up, especially in the career he's doing. You can't fall, you can't slip. And they say he was like number one in his class. So in her head, she probably lost in a way kind of feelings. Probably still had love for him, but kind of lost feelings. You know, when people, you know, go on different paths, you kind of lose kind of like feelings and stuff. Y'all going different. Y'all see things differently. So she was probably seeing things differently. She moved on, but the love was still there. He probably was still in love. You know, he didn't want to move. He didn't want the relationship to stop. But she just didn't feel like it was no interest in the relationship. It was nothing that she was getting out of the relationship. Or she was probably feeling alone in the relationship. So as she moved on, you know, they probably was still communicating. He's probably still trying to work it out. She meets somebody. She meet the dentist. You know, the dentist and him, he a cool dude. You know, he an outgoing type individual. You can tell by the pictures. Having fun, probably taking her out on dates. You know what I'm saying? They enjoying life. At the same time, he got a career being a dentist. He got a nice paying job. She's feeling comfortable. She enjoying herself. She's feeling more loose. She's feeling happy. But at the same time, she's still communicating with the doctor, you know what I'm saying, from time to time. Because she still got feelings for the doctor. She knew that the only thing that I believe that what separated them was the career paths that probably separated them. So the love part was still there in ways, but the career paths got in the middle of them really like keeping that marriage. So she meet the dentist and things working out. She's feeling good, you know, things going on, and you know, but she's still communicating with the doctor. Kids come into play, you know. Then the divorce. The divorce Bennett came into play. Then the divorce, and then he not trying to file the papers. He probably still communicating with her. They probably still communicating. You never know. You don't know. We don't know. But what I'm saying is that it's out of 10 years of for a person to come back out of nowhere it gotta be some type of communication in that relationship. Cause you gotta think about it. You know, we all look at pictures of people smiling, having a good time. You know, we look at the marriage, we look at them laughing, enjoying. We see that, but nobody see what's going on behind closed doors. You know, behind closed doors. You know, nothing is perfect in this world. Nothing is perfect. It's written in the Bible. Nothing is perfect. So we looking at the pictures and the smiles and the joy and laughter and all that. We thinking things is good, and you know, but behind closed doors, their situation probably wasn't perfect. And in them imperfection times, in them times where she was feeling down in that situation, she's probably talking to the doctor. Communicating with him, being emotional to him, telling the doctor about the flaws of the dentist. You know, opening up to him. The doctor probably sparking. He's probably feeling the spark of the communication. He's starting to feel feelings again, not knowing she just using you as a shoulder to cry on. You know what I'm saying? So years and years, time to time, they communicating, and but at the same time, she's loving the dentist. You know what I'm saying? Every time the dentist get into it, at whatever their community, whatever situation they get into, he always pulling her back. He always pulling her back in to the marriage. But at the same time, she's communicating with to the doctor, and whatever's going on in their conversation, it must be to the point where he's still having feelings. You know what I'm saying? The dentist probably eventually found out that they were still communicating. You know what I'm saying? The dentist probably found out. He probably found out about the communication. Because, you know, the phone records tell everything. The phone records, one thing about indictments, when they give you indictments, they give you indictments because they got sufficient evidence. You know, they're going to go look at the phone records. They're going to go look at the pictures. They're going to look at your Instagrams. They're going to look at everything, what's going on. They're going to look and see how perfect was his marriage. They're going to try to figure out why. What made this man come back after 10 years? Was it some type of communication there? Was it some type of romance? Was it some type of love triangle? Why? What made this man come back? You know what I'm saying? What made this man come back? And I in a way, I'm thinking it was a triangle. I'm thinking it was some type of triangle where she's married to the dentist, but at the same time, she's leading him on, even though the divorce is there, but they still mingling, they still communicating. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't got so caught up in the marriage, and the marriage and went transpired. She didn't really made it official with the dentist, and she had to let go of him. He couldn't take it. He like, nah, man, he ain't good for you. He ain't good for you. You know what I'm saying? He ain't good for you. I'll take care of you. He ain't good for you. He drove all the way up to Columbus, Ohio to prove that he wasn't good for her. She got in the middle of whatever situation transpired, and you know, he went straight for what he came. His intentions to kill. You know, he probably didn't want to kill her, but she got in the middle and shot her in the chest. His intentions probably was to kill the man, and she was there, and he shot her. You know, it's sad, because you know, that's why I tell a lot of these females, when y'all meet somebody, make sure you meet the man, and you, whatever's past you dealing with, make sure you ain't no longer dealing with that past, because sometimes your decision making can spark a love triangle, and that love triangle could end up being deadly, I believe in this situation. When you meet somebody, make sure you meet that person and let it be that person. That past is not going to pass, like it says in the Bible. He told Samson, his wife, Saul and his wife, told his wife, don't look back. And she looked back, and as she looked back, everything turned to dust. A lot of these females be looking back. You know, they don't understand what they have in front of them. You know, happiness and joy in front of them, but they always want to look back, and they turn and they mess shit up. They burn the whole house down. I'm not saying this has happened, but my opinion, this is my opinion. It's had to been some type of communication right there, man. There's no breaking and entry, no forced entry, Nobody broke in the house. You know, he didn't hurt the kids. You know, his intentions, it seemed like it was straight over there for that man. You know, she got in the middle. But it was some type of communication between them two. I'm guessing, I'm believing it, because the family knew too much about this individual. They knew too much about him. It's like she talked about him too much. The way the man was having, the brother, Tepe brother, was in these interviews, and you can tell by his body language and the way he was talking about how she was communicating about him. Like, it was like in his body language, like he knew they was communicating. He knew that Dr. and her was still communicating. But, you know, in a situation like this that's public, you gotta make it seem like the victims, or, you know, the people that was hurt, you gotta make them, even though you gotta make them look like they the most perfect people in the world, and they probably are, and in my heart they probably are perfect individuals, but also have opinion of other things too. We all have our opinions, but no one's perfect. You know what I'm saying? That's all I would believe. That's what I'm saying. I believe they was great individuals. I believe they was a good couple. I believe what happened shouldn't have happened. It's sad what happened, and you know, the only way we can really stop this bullshit that goes, excuse my language, that goes on in the world is if we stop making the guns, we stop making the weapons that hurt us. You know what I'm saying? And we can make a difference. It's up to us to make a difference. We got to change the mind, man. But other than that, man, this is my opinion. And, you know, no matter what, I'm going to always talk about it. So let's talk about it.